folks, we are back on the beat, and what do we do? On Homo Politicus, we'll give context and clarity to issues raised by my country, your country. Today, after fits and starts, Port Harcourt Refinery resumes crude oil processing. But is it yet Uhuru? You know, for an oil-producing country that avoidably tottered on the brink of an energy crisis, the news that the Port Harcourt Refinery had resumed crude oil processing is one that's received with foreboding. After all, a planned revival of our ailing refineries had come in fits and starts. Yes, the relieving news is that the Port Harcourt Refinery has resumed operations, and therefore truck loading of petroleum products commenced on Tuesday, November 26th. To the uninformed, this is likely to ease anxiety regarding products availability. But can it be said to be Uhuru yet? Industry experts are hard put to give a straightforward answer, straightforward yes to this. Considering that the Port Harcourt Refinery has the capacity for refining 60,000 barrels of crude oil per day, and for a country of over 200 million people, that's a tiny drop in the ocean. But if by a miracle, the second Port Harcourt facility and the Warri Refinery return to capacity production, then we can be sure of a reprieve. If the usual Nigerian lethargic way of doing things come into play here, I dare think we would be a long, long way from safe anchor. Let's go there. Aki Fatunke is here. Aki is a chartered accountant, a national affairs analyst, but worked in the oil industry for years. So he's an expert here. Great to have you, Mr. Fatunke. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Citizen Jones. Always a pleasure to be here.
And of course, Akin is joined by the personable Cyril Abaku. Cyril Abaku, a broadcaster and communications expert. Cyril, welcome one more time.
Very happy to be here.
I'd rather, Cyril, we started from your home base. The refinery is, as they say in the common everyday parlance, for your domot, so to say.
If indeed the Port Harcourt Refinery has, which geographically speaking more accurately, is located partly in Okreka and partly in Alesa Ileme, which was even the name it was given initially, Okreka Ileme Refinery. So if indeed the refinery on home soil is back able to discharge refined products from its bladder, it's a beautiful thing. It's welcome news.
Yeah.
We want to, especially because this came on the back of several unmet deadlines and frankly failures. Last December, they said the refinery was 95% complete and that it was the engineers were going on Christmas break, which I found very dubious.
They kept pushing it,
which was very dubious because people who were in the industry said we shouldn't expect anything even this year. You know, I mean, this was not December, but they said that even right up to the end of this year, we shouldn't, because the reality was that the NLC didn't resist federal government when they wanted to sell off the refineries. I think under Obasanjo, they said those refineries were as good as scrap, that they should just sell them off. We were saying no, but even the labor unions didn't.
But why would you sell a scrap?
No.
Who would want to buy a scrap?
That is to say, okay, good. So, but it was the reason, just to let you know, the NLC didn't fight the federal government when they wanted to sell it off. So, but when President Bola Tinubu came on board and there were attempts to revive it, we wanted to see, you never say no, you know, you have to give the benefit of possibilities. And that was what we did. Now, we don't know on what advice the federal government kept on giving those deadlines it gave, but it is good news, it is cheering news if today. Now, the government, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a week ago, we didn't hear them say, expect us to roll out petrol and so and so day. This all came suddenly in one day. They just said, as at Tuesday this week.
Otherwise, they kept you and me guessing.
Ostensibly so. And so yesterday, they came up and said, petrol is ready, you guys come and offtake. The marketers are the ones we're now looking at. Have they been able to access petrol? Have they been able to offtake? Okay. From being 95% mechanically ready last year, about a year later, we're now hearing that the refinery will only be able to produce about 70% of its capacity, which is okay.
Cyril, better late than never. So
we're on the same page, and so but we want to see what comes out and how that goes.
Yeah, Mr. Fatunke, to the layman, the question remains: is it Uhuru yet?
Thank you for that question. It can't be Uhuru yet. It can't be Uhuru, but I slant to my brother Cyril, who says thank you, who says thank God. So we thank you, we thank God. As I always say, when you see a bottle that is half filled, I still say it is half filled bottle, not half empty.
Half empty.
Okay, now in this wise, I see
polemics.
A bottle that is 1/4 filled, so it's still 1/4 filled bottle, even though by the time you take your gulp, it might not really satisfy.
1/4 full, 3/4 empty. Okay.
It cannot be Uhuru because for some umpteenth time, this government, perhaps the previous government, the APC government in short, have raised our hopes, have raised communications only for them to turn around, by the way.
To dash the hopes?
There's always turnaround maintenance.
Okay.
And they are not just dashed, they are embarrassingly dashed. Okay, so you tell us it is now working. The average Nigerian is saying out there, let me see it work. Because we make a communication today, tomorrow you now change the communication and then that you went for some photo ops. So that is number one. So in news, it can't be Uhuru. Because really, if I am hungry and you have as much as possible just giving me a morsel of bread, you expect me to say thank you. But really, it won't take me home. It won't take me home because as at the time you are juggling to give me that morsel, you had one in your right hand, which is the morsel you decide to give me, and you had the capacity to have on the other hand maybe a bigger slice of bread. And I was just wondering, why did you decide to give me a morsel when we are supposed to have that slice of bread? Cyril, you are so right. Nnpcl Refinery in the Okrika Refinery. And what we have not been told is that when you communicate that a man is blind, okay, let's know if the two eyes are gone, or that if it's a one-eyed man and all that. I am not satisfied with the communication that has come because the Okrika Refinery that we are talking about is 60,000 barrels per day. When we also have a Port Harcourt 2 refinery, which is double that capacity.
That capacity, yeah.
And a bit much more modern. Why did we go for the smaller one when we should have made two? So I am put on inquiry. Is it that the technology for
reviving,
is it going to be much more sophisticated and going to cost us much more? Okay, I need to be explained. I need to be explained to. I would rather I was given that one slice of bread. Yes, still will not take me anywhere. And you decide to give me a morsel. Sir Jones, this trick that you're applying, broadcasting, communications, whether print or electronic, it's a science.
Oh, yeah.
I come here a number of times behind the scene. You do something for us. No, Akin, this is how it should be pronounced. this is because if you pronounce it one way or don't pronounce it well, it's education. For me, I have seen half-baked in the kind of communication theme that we have at all levels. That communication that came from Nnpcl tried to deceive us. Yes. It didn't tell us, because when you say Port Harcourt Refinery is working, no. The communication is that one of the refineries, okay, one of the two, okay, you don't want to say that it's the bigger one should have gone to. One of the two has finally got light and started breathing. You didn't say that. When you say Port Harcourt Refinery is working, it's like you want to deceive. You want to deceive by giving a muscle that I mentioned to you, and you want the whole world to feel that you've given me a sliced bread with sardines. So that is the second one. Now, economists also now then talk about the fact that whether it is one barrel that you can refine there, or whether it's 60, again, does that get to the bottom line of helping us in price reduction? The answer is clearly no.
No.
Because it is necessary.
Well,
but not sufficient. It can only happen if the present government in the new change agenda have decided that we are going to go for full deregulation, and we do it full deregulation, in which case that Port Harcourt Refinery will help serve more of the people in that little
environment,
enclave. Okay, so Cyril is in that enclave. He lives in that enclave. I should expect that he should be able to buy a liter of fuel at a much lower than I will have to buy in Lagos. But when you now begin to now then want to swim and say that you are swimming in an ocean when you are swimming in a lake, this is the kind of thing
let me ask a layman's question here. If the two refineries at Port Harcourt, in addition to the one at Warri, resume production, would we have a reprieve?
If. Please, Cyril Jones, don't take me there.
Okay.
Don't take me there, because I have been.
I'm asking my question on behalf of the man on the street.
I know. That question will want to take me into want to start to play the politics that I don't want to play. Can I say clearly, as an operator, and I'm expecting you, I'm expecting listeners, I'm expecting Cyril, I'm expecting the average person to begin to hurl stones at me. Yes. One, we have run those refineries to the ground.
Deliberately?
Deliberately. We stole them to the ground. Okay. Another way your question will be for you to ask me that we ran Nigeria Airways to the ground. It's now a carcass, and you now ask me, what if we now get one or two other planes and still put it in there? Will it still be able to? We've run it to the ground. That's number one. Number two, we run it to the ground, and those refineries that you have just mentioned, I'm saying this with pain. I wish I can say it otherwise. They are sitting on a bed of oil. Meaning, for you to really say you want to bring them back into the reality of producing to environmental friendly and what have you.
Reality of the now.
You will have to spend a lot of money down. Am I talking gibberish here? No. President Obasanjo is still alive, and he just made a statement. People will look at that statement and say maybe he's trying to do sour grapes. He said, I tried to get those refineries to work. Well, Tinubu, I'll use the word may, but he said cannot succeed. He cannot succeed because It cannot succeed because those refineries are waiting for the necessary injection of capital. So, President Obasanjo knew what he was saying, because very close to when he was leaving, he wanted to privatize. And arrangement had been made.
No, if he privatized, it would have been
He wanted to ask private capital to come and resuscitate the place. One came, I belonged to the other that came, and they made a pronouncement which was flashed in the newspapers. Sinjos will remember that the value of that refinery that they wanted to give to ExxonMobil at that time is zero. Sell it for €0.
I said it now.
And then okay. Now you are nodding. And then of course, the Labour Congress. No, it's not true. They rose in arms and all that. The consortium of Otedola and this Dangote, who had put in money, paid money, and then we now then said, no, you can't sell our assets that way. It's taking us to where we are at. The other refineries that we are competing with, example will be the Rotterdam refinery, one of the biggest in the world. The refinery business is not returning profit. In fact, when Dangote came in, they had to find a way to close down. So, but you are right to ask me that question, and I have to respect it, because when you are in a quagmire, when you are in a marsh, the best thing is not for you to just continue to jump.
They say when you are in a pit, the best thing is not to keep digging.
Okay, so in the very, very short term, okay, it's a palliative. So if those refineries begin to work, I have my doubts. Then the ones we had, to make it worse, Nigeria, we have to wake up. Many people know what I'm saying. Every people know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Part of it is, you even mentioned Kaduna Refinery. Was Kaduna Refinery founded on any feasibility that you can talk about? Buhari, along the time he was living, talked about the Kolomani Refinery. That's it. A lot of money is going in there. The question now is, how do we go? If a magic wand can be invoked and Alice in Wonderland can reverse so many things, I would say yes. But in the absence of that, we now have a refinery that was created by Citizen Jones. Okay, I'm talking about that Dangote now, and everybody is now fighting. It's a monopolist and all that. You've not done your own and all that kind of stuff. It will merely help, in my view, to serve as some competition. The Port Harcourt one refinery that has been refurbished now is not enough to serve as competition.
Yeah.
For an oligopolist. An oligopolist is somebody who produces and decides how much is going to sell.
Has about 460,000.
No, 650.
650,000.
Including petrochemicals.
Yeah.
Including controls, whereby you and I will not be buying contaminated fuel. Okay. But you and I know that. Made in Aba, you tell me something is made in Aba. If you put made in Aba, nobody wants to buy it. But if you now put made in China, everybody now rushes it. A mental.
Yeah, but there was also a time people couldn't buy made in China because of the stigmatization. And of course, and again, because of the verity of Chinese mediocrity and yes.
There was a political will.
The Chinese were not sleeping.
They transmogrified, yes. They transmogrified. The reality of using the Aba analogy, just because I'm familiar with the Aba market ecosystem, is the fact that Aba does produce some very good things.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, they produce in Aba, take it overseas to Turkey, and then re-import it. Not just Turkey, many countries of the world. And so, when I bring it back into the oil industry, I'm a bit worried.
So I don't forget, so it doesn't skip me now. Cyril, Mr. Fatunke talked about the Kaduna Refinery. You know, it came out of pure political consideration.
Balance in federal character, balance.
Because that refinery at Kaduna was not meant to produce the PMS.
You know, if we want to go into the problems
it was to
Produce
bitumen.
bitumen, yeah.
But you still have to now pipe quite a number of things from here to there.
From source down to
Now, okay,
to
all
Kaduna.
right. So even if you decided that's what you wanted to do, you did not maintain.
No,
You
what we can
you
do is
left
simple.
all those things out there, and as I'm speaking today, now we are talking about oil, I mean, fiscal, federalism. We still talk about the fact that certain things should not happen, but we are not of one tongue and one tribe,
Kaduna,
to look at things straight in the and just say, look, you don't have factors of endowment in here. Where you have factors of endowment, that's where we can then decide to do trade. But in our own case, we have jettisoned common sense, and as far as we are concerned, how do you normally put it? Water on troubled oil, oil on troubled waters.
The common balance is, if you pour oil on troubled waters, mine is, what do you pour on troubled oil?
So now you have cited a Kaduna refinery. As at the time that came on, it was, I don't know if it was Uhuru. Now the whole thing is being run to the ground, and rather than find a way to
imagine a whole Bayelsa state. There's no refinery in Bayelsa.
And then what then did you do? You
decided
you started to lie to yourselves that you found basins in the northeast or whatever it is, and we've been sinking
after spending
a lot of money.
After sinking millions of
and
dollars.
we have not gotten anything so far. Look, let's tell ourselves the truth. I just think back to the to the core subjects. Please say it exactly as it is.
Yeah.
You have just made a minute, small step. Say exactly what it is.
Okay.
And don't make a political capital out of it.
We didn't mean to overburden you, because I know at a time like this, you are forced to look introspect and come out the worse for it. But Cyril, hear this. From Obasanjo accepting Goodluck Jonathan through to now, every president had elected to be the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources. You think there was no reason for this?
Perhaps there was a reason, but by judging the end, or by judging the means by the end, then nothing really came out of it. And if anything came out of it indeed, and what came out of it is what we saw, then it means that something is even much worse than anybody could imagine. But my real fear, my real concern is that all the headlines surrounding the off-taking of petrol in Port Harcourt has been largely speculative. I want to see a situation in which these guys go there and truck out.
Yeah.
And then, even if it's a drop, a fraction of a drop in the ocean.
Okay. You need pictures from there.
Well, not pictures. Maybe testimonials. Indeed.
And say a report on
the
spot.
They've off-taken, and that it won't be a one-off, and that it won't be off-taken for a few months, and then they say, oh, there was something that they had not foreseen which came up, and therefore. They are going back to the
something similar to the national grid.
Yes,
collapsing
today, coming back.
Whatever.
So much so that we've lost count of how many times it is collapsed. See, the reality is that when you begin to look at the Nigerian problem, it seems that Nigeria brought trouble to the people that became Nigerians, who otherwise might have been living in peace. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the hope of nationhood has been dashed and lost completely. It is not irretrievable. It can be retrieved. But the question is, are we willing to do the needful? We saw how President Buhari came and said he was putting money into the Benue Trough. You have a port in Port Harcourt, purportedly silted. You didn't find a way to revive it. You have the one in Calabar, the one in Warri, that should have reduced the pressure and the burden on Lagos, and spread the wealth and blessing further afield. You are going to look for to use street balance. You go find waiting no loss. All the money we spent, we sunk in the Benue Trough. How much has come out of it? So much so that what you know what we gain? We gain blood. I'm sorry, because
makes you
professors of geology at Nnpcl died the needless death.
Yeah, Siri, makes you, it provokes the question: are we done with the Benue Trough project? Are we done?
Are we not? Well, I don't know. Our budgeting system, are we still not putting money in there? And if we've not found oil, but some people are saying you must find oil by force here. You just have to find oil.
How do you do that?
Okay, now because
wait
now, we do that even in our religiosity. You know that you are going to face a stone wall. You still say that you can still pass on. The
money we used in the Benue Trough, if we had put it into stabilizing the mining sector. Look at Nigeria's gold belt from Ilesha to Zamfara. We could have done. We could have made more meaning out of that. Okay, we could have easily what's the word? We could have established that sector. Okay, but what the government do? They left it to the gold thieves and bandits.
So you know
who take the gold and then give the federal government.
You know that is what you should do. I know that's what I should do. Since Jones, who brought us here, says he doesn't believe that is how we should do. Is that no conflict?
No, he hasn't said it.
No. What I'm saying is that what you have just prescribed, are you telling me that economists don't know that's how we should go?
Well, President Bola Tinubu is declaring us, and he himself,
as far as I'm concerned,
understands these issues from Tonaco to Nadeco.
Can I answer your question? You said, is it a mistake or whatever it is? Is it deliberate that we have ministers of petroleum being the president? Yes. The goose that lays the golden egg, they know that is where they can do a lot of manipulation. And so many of the leakages that we have, the belief is that once you are there, you can control by fiat, forgetting the fact that you are also digging your grave. Secondly, Cyril, now today, is it now that we are seeing some of the things? Okay, so we are talking about, did President Muhammadu Buhari also not say that without having sea or coastline in certain areas, you're going to take a Ministry of Transportation or Naval, whatever it is there. You want to tell me that you don't, all of us don't know, that they don't know, that it is just an avenue for them to always continue.
Have you forgotten your famed ship house at Abuja?
Okay, so, and then in a financial circle, Bola Tinubu came and said, look, can we do a revamp? The CBN governor said, look, if you have over 70 or 80% of the base in Lagos, those headquarters should not be there. But people now then rose up and said, no, it's not going to happen. In fact, the blindness right now is, like you are saying, this thing doesn't look logical. Look, and I say, look, maybe it's because you don't have eyes, okay? You can't see what I am seeing. Okay, you know what? Even though you can't see what I'm seeing, I'm going to do something that will put a lot of, more money into your hands. You say, no, you don't want it. There's a lot of suspicion and all that on all these tax reforms that we are talking about. Point, therefore, is recalibrate, restructure, issue of resource control. Let's go loosely a little bit.
Because we were there before.
And take a decision of what we are going to put in the center. This oil that we are talking about is becoming a wasting asset. Okay? Frank technology, all since Obama's time, has reduced. India is coming as one of our largest. But the point now is, for every barrel of oil that we produce, we are not even getting the adequate yield.
But Aki, aren't you?
Somebody is stealing us blind.
Are you not in any way traumatized, if not embarrassed, by the fact that Aramco is making it, Petrobras is making it? So where's the problem here?
The problem is the people, us. Okay, so he has said it. Well, but why don't we do our things in a special way? Professor Aboyade Cole of blessed memory, when we were developing national development plans, also they face that kind of problem. Somebody will just say, no, I don't know. And if you can't build a consensus, you'll be able to go forward. The truth of the matter is, can we be truthful to ourselves?
For once.
Leadership is not about propaganda. Leadership is about telling the truth exactly the way it is, even if people are going to throw stones at you and say you are not performing. But go out there and do what is needful and build the necessary consensus. We are not doing that now. Then, on the other side of the fence, okay? On the other side of the fence, put it down, anything that you see, because perhaps you are not in government and stuff like that, you find a way to want to pull it down. Rather than, I'm happy. I just read before I came in here that Mr. Gregory Peter Obi has just given a commendation. I don't know, in this day of manipulation, just giving a commendation to
Nnpcl.
Yes.
The refinery.
Regarding the refinery.
Yes, but they said that, look, let there be transparency, let there be accountability.
He's not asking for too much.
One of the things that Cyril is going to tell me now, come to common sense. Okay, even though I said the thing is not going to make any significant change, I would have thought that even before you sell anything to Dangote, I'm assuming, give them the feedstock, the crude that they should use. You may find out that some people will now go and sit down somewhere and then they begin to do
all right, folks.
their manipulations.
Cyril, we must begin to go back home. Time to apply the brakes. How do you bury this?
No, the thing is that the Port Harcourt refinery come back on stream, like I said, is good news for everybody. Nobody wants to see these refineries die. But reality is reality. Don't let it become another national grid.
Okay, how do you take this?
Because you said he should bury it.
Okay, take it.
I will have to take it from where he has buried it and tell ourselves the truth. Let's face the reality of the moment. Things are not going to be any easier because we have eaten our cake and we cannot be thinking of having it. Leadership should be by example, should be by character, should be by competence, should be by capacity.
Yeah.
Carry everybody along and let everybody know that, look, this is exactly the road we are going to be practicing. You will not be asking and see people are suffering. We're going from Saudi Arabia to France to London, and then you look at Cyril and then give him an appointment, to do exactly the same thing that Cecil Jones is doing and stuff like that. I may be sounding, those are some of the things that erode trust. Nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts you even when you have the good mind to want to do some of the things that you are doing. And the only reason why we are not trusting you is that people we see with you and people surrounding you are not showing
all right, folks, we must apply the brakes here, but thank you. Let me add this line from a former American First Lady, Rosalynn Carter. She said, a leader is one who takes the people where they want to be, but a good leader will take a people to where they ought to be. I hope it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, thank you, Aki Fatoge, for your time.
You are welcome, Citizen Jones.
Cyril Abaku, many thanks for your time.
Happily too.
So the debate continues. After fits and starts, the Port Harcourt Refinery, we are told, has resumed production. Good news. But we can have greater news, which is saying the Port Harcourt Refinery is joined by a second refinery in Port Harcourt and the one at Warri. Then we will begin to look for the glory days. They can come back. Thank you. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, I want to say thank you very much for your time. Until the next time we meet, bye-bye, folks.